So you build out your character sheet and then you draw your symbol. And it can be anything inside that circle. The less complex and more original that the symbol is, the more effective it'll be. This is going to be the first part in a series on building a character trigger. What is a character trigger and why do we need it? Okay, let's look at the mind. As a person is growing up, they are being raised and their character is being developed. Now let's say that character is a record. And as that record is being written, when a trauma happens or something along those lines, it is basically a scratch that is put in that record. So every time that you come up to that scratch, there's a bump in it and it messes up. This is where we break character. This is where we act out. This is where we respond with responses from old traumas that are programmed into our character. And it's very important to write a new character. That way we're not replaying these old errors that were programmed in. And this takes out all the shame, blame, and judgment of that. It's just a mechanical observation. Now let's look at the brain. The brain has these neural pathways that are developed as a person is growing. And as you repeat a habit, they get ingrained over and over. So let's say you initially get this trauma, and then each time that is triggered, all these responses happen. And those responses begin to get ingrained over and over and over. It may be 2 or 3 times a year, but over the course of 30 years, that adds up. So then your responses are programmed in to respond in a negative way when they are no longer needed in a situation that triggers those responses. Almost knocked my notebook off. So let's look at this. How do we go in and write a new character without those flaws or without those scratches in the record? That is where we build the character sheet. Starting out, all you'll need is a pen and a piece of paper or a notebook. A couple of cents from Walmart and like $1 from Walmart. They're going to be a great investment. So the first thing that I want you to do is sit down and close your eyes and visualize the type of person that you really want to be. Now, it also helps to visualize what you want out of life. What are your hopes and dreams? And at times we can forget that it's okay to dream and it's okay to hope and think about the biggest, wildest imaginations we have. But that's what I want you to do. Imagine the most wildest version of you just becoming the most amazing thing that you can possibly imagine, whatever it is that you want to be. Once you have that locked in your mind, take one little step back and imagine the type of person that it takes to get there, the character that it takes, and the resiliency that it takes. And I want you to be writing this down. Write down your hopes and dreams, and then under that, start filling out what that character needs to be to reach what your dreams are, because we were given our dreams for a purpose and for a reason. So go ahead and sit this down with your pen and paper. The top of the paper, write down vision, dream, and then below that, write down character sheet. Write down all of the highest qualities that you will need. Write down how you're going to act. Write down how you're going to talk. Write down your best qualities. Write down the things that this person can do and the skills that they have. This is your character that you're building. As you develop your character over a few days, add to it, detract from it, but build it out the best you can. Once you've built your character sheet out, at the bottom of the page or at the next sheet of paper, I want you to draw a circle and draw a symbol in that circle. And this symbol will represent your character. This is the first step in building a character trigger. So you build out your character sheet and then you draw your symbol. And it can be anything inside that circle. The less complex and more original that the symbol is, the more effective it'll be. It can be a couple of circles, some simple lines, a triangle and some circles, some lines. It doesn't have to make any sense, but just make it simple and make sure it's original and you've never seen it before. All right, now that you've got your symbol, I want you to go to a new sheet of paper and take all that information about your character and put it on that new sheet of paper. And put your vision at the very top of that character sheet. Now what I want you to do is draw your symbol at the top of that page and draw your symbol at the bottom of that page. And every morning that you wake up, I want you to look at your symbol and then I want you to read your character sheet and look at your symbol again. And I want you to do this for 7 days, right when you wake up and right when you go to bed. And this is just the first step of creating the character trigger. But this is one of the most important foundation parts of your character trigger. So I'm just going to go over it one more time. When you get your first sheet of paper, write down your vision, your goals. The sky's the limit. Write down your character in the utmost detail and in the most amazing version that you can think of. And then on the next sheet of paper, draw and design over a couple of days your symbol. Remember, the more simple it is and the more original it is, the more effective it will be. Now you compile those on one sheet. Symbol at the top, character sheet in the middle, and then symbol at the bottom. Once you have that, read it in the morning and read it at night for 7 days. Trust me, this is going to be a solid foundation once you follow these steps. In the next video, I'm going to talk about the next step where you start programming in the character trigger and the symbol together.